Made on Zencaster.
Because Zencaster is the all-in-one podcasting platform that makes every stage of the podcast production process so easy. Use the link in the description. It has a built-in discount. Hello and welcome to Fit for My Age, the health and well-being podcast from Abeceda. I am your host, Michael Middleward, Managing Director of Abeceda. Today, my guest is Christopher Deaney from Organic Botanicals, and we are going to be discussing Kratom. You've probably never heard of it, but that will change. Christopher is based in New Jersey in the United States. I have never been, but if I ever do get to go, I will make all of my travel arrangements through the Ultimate Travel Club, because that is where I get trade prices on flights, hotels, holidays, trains, and all sorts of other travel-related purchases. You can do the same by using the link in the description, which has a built-in discount on membership subscriptions. Now that I have paid some bills, it is time to make an episode of Fit for My Age. That will be well worth listening to, liking, downloading, and subscribing to. Very importantly, on Fit for My Age, we don't tell you what to think, but we do hope to make you think. Hello, Christopher.
Hello, how are you doing today?
I am doing extremely well, thank you very much. I hope you can say the same.
Yes, doing pretty good.
You are the founder of Organic Botanicals?
Yes, Christopher's Organic Botanicals. I was involved in alternative medicine or herbal products, I can say. My parents, back in the early 80s, were involved in Herbalife. So I was always educated on different herbs and plants and medicinal products that were natural.
Your parents were involved in Herbalife, and so you got
Correct.
a bit of an education around all of that, and you were hit by a car when you were 8 years old and on all sorts of painkillers.
Correct. So the painkillers really started at 8. Then I was all right for a couple of years. Then I started getting knee dislocations really bad. So I would get painkillers, every few months with a new knee dislocation. So I was on and off opiates basically from 8, 9 years old through my mid-20s.
Wow.
So it was always looking for something natural that could really help me.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what led me to find Kratom.
And that's one of the main things that you have in your company, this Kratom.
Yes, we deal with traditional Kratom leaf from Indonesia. No synthetics, nothing, just all natural.
Tell me more about it. And am I pronouncing it correctly? Kratom.
Yes, correct. Some people say Kratom, but more traditionally people say Kratom.
Okay. And this comes from Indonesia.
Indonesia and Southeast Asia specifically, but Indonesia is the main exporter of Kratom leaves. Thailand also created regulations back in 2021. So they are now an exporter of Kratom products as well.
Okay.
Malaysia still hasn't overturned their ban. A lot of Southeast Asia banned Kratom in the 30s. Back around the same time, cannabis was banned in the United States.
Okay.
So the reason behind that, we come to find out, is because in Southeast Asia, opium was traded as a commodity and taxed, and there was a lot of money behind opium. People were deciding they didn't want the opium; they were changing over to Kratom leaves because the Kratom leaves were helping them get off the opium.
Right.
So that wasn't good for tax revenue.
You see, I've lived in Asia, and even with the opium, people would have special pieces of furniture where they would take their opium. It was quite a thing for a long period of time.
Yeah, very long. And even in the United States, they had opium dens back in the early 1900s, late 1800s. So it's been around.
People who had tried opium and wanted to get off opium, because it's an addictive drug, would start using Kratom. What is Kratom?
Kratom is simply a leaf from a tree. The leaves are either plucked and thrown into a big pot of water and boiled all day and simmered, or people pluck the leaf off the tree and chew on the leaves, usually about 20 leaves a day. The average laborer or farm worker will pluck these leaves off for energy. Also, it works, like we were talking about, for opium withdrawal, but also it works for energy. People look at it as a coffee substitute out in Southeast Asia.
Because I suppose if you are chewing a coffee leaf, you would get the caffeine, which that would give you energy as well.
Correct. Like in the United States, or people that consume Kratom tea, we take the dried powder, throw it in some hot water and drink it, like an instant tea. Out there, they really don't ingest the leaf material the way we do, but it's pretty similar, the effects.
Is it more like opium, or is it more like tea or coffee?
It's more akin to coffee. Kratom is a cousin to coffee, botanically.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with the opium plant, opium poppy, or anything else. It grows probably about 80 feet tall, like pine or oak trees in the United States.
Wow. So this is a substantial tree.
Yes. The better kratom comes off the older trees.
The older ones are always the best,
Yes.
as they say.
The best education.
Yeah, the older I get, the better I am. It's not an opioid, and so it's not got the same sort of addictive characteristics of those types of drugs. And in many ways, it's not a drug.
It's not. It's a botanical. It's a plant.
Right.
It's a leaf. There has been basically an 8-factor analysis, 2 of them done on plain leaf kratom in the United States over the last couple of years. Addiction profile or dependence profile is that of coffee for plain leaf kratom.
Right.
So it has the same dependence as coffee. I've been drinking kratom tea for 10 years almost, and every morning I still wake up and get my coffee first. I'm not worried about the kratom. So if that tells you anything, I think coffee for me is more addictive.
Coffee can be quite a sort of like habit forming, I think we'll say habit forming type of substance in the same way as tea can be. I can't start the day until I've had my coffee or my tea.
Or sugar.
Or sugar as well. All of them plant-based. All of them have their habit-forming characteristics. And what we're saying is that kratom
Correct.
is the same type of plant-based product. It is something which is akin to coffee in terms of energy and relaxation, I suppose, as well. People use coffee to relax and tea to relax, so it's that sort of thing. But you also mentioned it in terms of pain-killing characteristics.
Yes, the leaf itself has many characteristics. It has 40 to 50 alkaloids that are still being studied. And these 40 or 50 alkaloids work on 3 to 5 systems in the body at the same time. When you're chewing the leaf, you're getting all the alkaloids, or you're ingesting the leaf, you're getting all the alkaloids. There's subalkaloids and main alkaloids. Some of the main alkaloids work on serotonin, then adrenergic. Some touch the opioid receptors. So there's all different things going on at the same time, like a symphony orchestra,
Yes.
making the kratom leaf work the way it does.
So are we talking about some type of superfood?
We're still studying that. There's definitely polyphenols. There's a big argument in the United States over kratom right now.
So what are the myths about kratom?
Well, basically the biggest myth for years was that kratom was killing people. And that's why a lot of countries and states ban kratom, because obviously our governments don't want us dying. So we can't get mad. We can't get mad at the government. What we have to do is get mad at the misinformation. The main thing with kratom started, it was actually in Sweden in 2009. There was a product on the market, a kratom product called Krypton. So this Krypton kratom product, see, kratom doesn't get you high. So for years, companies have come out trying to make kratom into like a get high product, and that's not what it is. So what they did was they added tramadol to it. The tramadol is an opiate. There was 9 or 10 people died. They overdosed on all the tramadol they were putting in this product. So it came back that this kratom product killed 9 or 10 people. Well, that news got out. A year later, the science came back and said this wasn't the kratom that killed them. It was the tramadol in the kratom. It wouldn't have mattered if Maxwell House had the tramadol in it. It wasn't the coffee that killed them. It was the tramadol. So that's really where the misinformation started. And it just went on from there. It wasn't until really 2019, 2018, there started becoming a lot of science that came out from the University of Florida, NIDA, National Institute of Health, the United States government agencies, where they were studying it and saying, you know what, there's something good about this plant. This plant is helping people get off opioids. This plant's helping people stop drinking alcohol. We can't ban this. We have to study this. And that's what we've been doing. The NIDA, National Institute for Drug Abuse, allotted $100 million of our taxpayer dollars to study kratom.
Have they reached any conclusions?
Yes, that kratom there's the 8-factor analysis, and there's a couple more things coming up that will be coming out shortly. The FDA did their own dose finding study, and they gave 40 people up to 12 grams of kratom powder each. And through the study, they said that kratom powder and capsules are well tolerated at high doses. If you take too much, you'll get nauseous and throw up. So there's really no safety issue with that. So now they're going on to the addiction profile. That'll be ready in 4 years probably. But from what everybody's seen, the addiction profile or dependence profile is that of coffee. And that's people taking 12 grams of kratom a day. So are there people that'll abuse it and try to take 100 grams of kratom a day? Sure. People abuse everything. So it's trying to see the good and the bad out of it. So they're seeing a lot more good than bad. So it's exciting.
It's exciting, but it also raises all sorts of questions and makes me interested as well in like the history of coffee and tea and those drinks that we use to either give us energy, to relax us, all sorts of various different things. That on the surface, kratom doesn't seem that different to coffee or tea.
It's just another plant that's here for us. It's up to us to kind of discover these plants and see what they were used for.
Yes. I'm thinking that back in the day when coffee and tea were used initially, they may have actually gone through the same sort of process. I know with what we call hot chocolate nowadays, in its original format, would have varying effects on the people that were using it when it was originally introduced. It's not just a sweet drink like we have now. It's bitter and it has various different properties of the cacao,
Yes.
which we don't actually now experience in chocolate or in hot chocolate.
It was medicinal back in the day, and now it's just a treat.
Yes. Depends how often you drink it, whether it's a treat or not.
That is correct. I love some hot chocolate in the middle of the winter. That's all I know.
Yes, and the thicker the better.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're talking about kratom, you're talking about a tree that grows quite tall, covered in leaves. Is there a fruit that goes with the tree as well?
No, they do have seed pods that grow eventually as the tree gets older, which look like bright yellow ball flowers. They're actually seed pods. But no fruit, no.
Oh, are the seeds used in anything, or is it just the leaves?
Just the leaves. The seed pods are actually really coveted so they can grow more kratom.
Right.
Because that's what they try to do. A lot of the kratom is wild harvested. They just go out into the jungle. They'll drive out 14 hours into the jungle and harvest these leaves. It takes them days just to go back and forth to dry and bring it back to the processing center. It's really hard work for them.
That then leads us into how fair trade is the trade in kratom?
We're getting there. There's been a lot of issues over the years because we're still in a market that's not regulated. Once we get regulated, then we'll understand, okay, this is what we have to do. The bad actors won't be there. They'll get pushed out and things will get a little bit better. But for right now, for the last decade I've been working, it's been about building trust with the people that you're working with. We have our own farmers group in Indonesia that we work with. Over the years, there's been people that basically try to pay the lowest price they possibly can to the farmer. And if that happens, the farmer's not making any money.
That's capitalism, though, isn't it? We all want to get a bargain.
Yeah, everybody wants to get the cheapest price, but what comes with the cheapest price is the cheapest kratom.
Yeah.
Took a few years for larger companies to understand that, because when they were paying the farmers not enough or half the going rate, we always pay a premium. We've always paid a premium, and that's why our farmers are taken care of. The villages that grow the kratom, the villages now have electricity 24 hours a day. We've put money back into the infrastructure out there. So it's about helping everybody. But what happened was these other people were just not paying them correctly. Mm-hmm. So the other farmers groups out there, what they were doing is sending them half kratom leaves, half guava leaves, or half kratom leaves, half moringa leaves. So the market back in 21, 22, 23, I heard numerous complaints of people coming to me saying, hey, I ordered kratom from this other company and it doesn't taste like kratom. It's very bland. Like kratom's bitter. It's got a bitter taste to it. And they said, this kratom's very bland. It doesn't taste like kratom. What's the problem? And I said, I'm not really sure. So I looked into it and I got letters from that farmers group. They sent me personally and said, this is what we're doing. Spread the word. Tell people we're tired of not getting paid correctly. And I was just blown away. I said, they really cause their own problems out here by just not taking care of people. So there goes what happens when you don't do fair trade and you take care of people.
What goes around comes around.
100%.
So you're working with farmers groups. So how would you describe them?
It's basically a cooperative. Out in Indonesia, it's called the Apuri Farmers Group. And there's about 130,000 farmers together. Wow. They work with the big processors. They don't want to just harvest a bunch of leaves, have them sitting there. So they have quotas. How much do we need? And they go out and they pick it and farm it and bring it back. And like I said, sometimes they're on boats for 4 hours going through the rivers to get to certain areas. Or they're driving for 14 hours through the jungle to get back to Pontianak so they can get it to the processor. Right. So it's hard work. They need to be paid for what they do. So
definitely.
I'm happy.
But the aim is to move away from the wild harvesting into more of a agricultural farmed product.
Yes, they are doing that. There are private, we call them plantations, mm-hmm. where there's people that have been growing this in their families. Like they might have 20 acres of land and they're growing these kratom trees. They're specific genetics that they've been growing for 10 years or so. And their kratom leaves come out to be a very good quality, higher mitragynine. Everything's perfect the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
if you have those genetics, yeah, that's beautiful to do that.
Right. One of the things about trees is that you can plant a tree, but you're not really planting a tree for yourself. You're planting it for your grandchildren.
Correct.
How long does it take one of these Kratom trees to get to the point where you can harvest leaves from it?
Well, technically, you can harvest leaves after 6 months,
Right.
but they're not going to be that. They're not going to be that strong. Usually, about 2 years.
So from 2 years old, the tree can be harvested and it'll deliver a reasonable crop, which then goes into the system.
Yes.
The way in which Indonesia is moving with the production is that it's much more producer-led rather than processor-led.
Yes, correct. They're only giving licenses to certain people
Right.
for certain periods of time right now. Everything's got to be 100% by the book, GMPs, tested. Everything's got to be perfect before you can even get your license. So they're just making it very strict.
Right.
So certain people have to team up. They have to team up to do this.
Right. When you say a license, for most people in the Western world, the thought of a farmer being given a license is quite strange. What is the license for?
It's an exporter license for Kratom leaves.
Right. So if you are a Kratom farmer, you could produce the leaves and sell them in the domestic market, but the money is to be made in the export market, and you can't do that unless you've got a license.
Correct. And that's the biggest issue now with Indonesia regulating Kratom. You have a lot of farmers that for years, for decades, would just go on Facebook or go on the internet and just sell leaves directly to people. People can just buy directly from these people who are, have trees in their backyard, whatever. They've kind of put a stop to that with this licensing. So now those farmers are going, well, what am I going to do for money? So now they're trying to group up and join up with other groups so this whole thing can work.
So if you have the trees but no license, you need to work with a farmer who has got the license, and then everyone benefits.
Yep, correct, 100%. Like a co-op.
So you get the products, the leaves. What sort of processing do you do of the leaves?
Great, good question. We decided in the beginning, when I first started this company, I have a food service background, HACCP and a lot of other food handling and food safety handling. So I kind of knew that I'm working with a plant that's a food, people are ingesting it. So let's keep that in mind. So what I did was I was packaging myself for the first 6 months in our little room with a hairnet and gloves and, taking orders, running the website and still working my other job. So it was a nightmare. I was really trying my best because I saw how much this plant benefited me. And when I purchased it, it came in a Ziploc bag with magic marker written on it, what it was. I said, that's not good. We got to figure out how to do this better. So I met up with a co-packer. We have a co-packer, a pharmaceutical co-packer near where we live. And I explained my situation. I said, we need proper labeling, proper testing, everything done properly with this product. I said, do you have any ideas? And we sat down for a few hours and came up with, all right, well, let's do this. We're going to put it in 4 different size packages. We have to have all the proper warning labels and everything on here so people know what they're ingesting, and let's take it from there. And that was back in 2017. So we've been really leading the way in putting our percentages, what's in the product, warning labels, directions for use, all the other normal things you would see on a product. Mm-hmm. Because for years, that was not normal. It would come in a bag with nothing on it. You wouldn't even know what it was.
And you're packaging for very much like a tea or a coffee.
Correct.
Is it just the making of a drink that people use it for, or are there other ways in which you can use it?
I've seen people back, even when I first started using Kratom, I remember this girl that had she had a horrible reaction to a steroid cream. And her body turned like rosacea red. Everything was red. Like everything flared up. So what she did is she took the Kratom powder, made it into a paste, and put the paste on her skin. Mm-hmm. That helped clear it up. So there is something there.
So it should be pestle and mortar and breaking the leaves down into a paste, bit of olive oil or something to get it all along.
Yep, and then made a paste and spread it on her skin, and it cleared up the steroid reaction.
So it's basically a natural leaf from a plant, and it has various different benefits, and it's about working out how to use it for whatever it is that you're trying to deal with, whether it's pain or like a skin infection or flare-up.
We're just scratching the surface.
Once you've got rid of the skin infection or the pain, is it wise to carry on just having it as a drink?
It depends. Some people use it as like a replacement for coffee. They'll drink it maybe a cup in the morning, and then that's it. Call it a day. There's other people that use it for like pain management, like where I would use it. I drink maybe 3 cups, 4 cups of tea a day. Even saying that, me compared to 4 times a day, compared to 1 time a day, I don't feel any need for kratom in the morning when I first wake up, but I'm in pain, so I don't want to be in pain. so,
Right.
so for me, that's what I would use it for.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anyone who shouldn't use it?
Yes, definitely. There can be medication interactions with kratom. What we've seen, the biggest medication interaction for whatever reason would be antihistamines.
Right.
So we tell people, just be careful with what you take, talk to your doctor, about taking a different supplement or a plant. There could be different dangers with it. You don't want to drink alcohol with it. You don't want to take a bunch of medication with it. Like, I don't know how it is in England, but the United States, people are drinking a Red Bull, a Monster with their coffee, with their this, that. There's like 20 things going on at once. So that's really not the best way to kind of figure out how plants work. You kind of just want to take it by itself, see how it works.
Yeah.
So
drink an energy drink and a coffee at the same time?
Oh, man, I've seen it. I see it too often.
Wow, there'll be people bouncing off the walls.
I see people do it way too often. It's got to be horrible for you.
Wow, it's not something I would do.
Not me neither.
Not at all. Not at all. So where can people get hold of Kratom?
Well, we do have a website if people like to educate themselves. It's christophersorganicbotanicals.com. We have a blog that people can read, our different blog posts. I think there's like 250 of them now. We do have a YouTube channel. We have our social media, TikTok, where I do put up videos, just quick snippets. We do have some songs. We made up music and stuff like that to add up because there's not that many herbal songs. So we decided let's do that.
That sounds cool.
In the United States, we have the American Kratom Association. In Europe, they have the EKA, the European Kratom Alliance. That's a great organization if you want to get involved and learn more. It's eka.eu.
Great.
That'll give you a bunch of information. People have their kratom stories on there. Everything that we're doing over here, that's what they're doing over there. They're fighting. Because like in the Czech Republic, they just legalized kratom. Kratom's fine in Czech Republic now.
If you're exporting it from the United States, you've got obviously a list of the countries that you can and cannot export it to.
Correct. Yes, we only deal with the United States. We only sell within the United States. Because just with customs, there's a lot of issues. Shipping can be astronomical. So there could be a lot of issues when you're going between two different countries selling a product that is kind of in the gray area.
Right.
So we don't want anybody just, ordering and then it gets caught up in customs. They lose their money. We lose our money, whatever. So we really just don't push that. But even in the United States, there's 6 states that you can't ship kratom to.
Interesting.
So we're still fighting that.
Yeah.
It's messy.
Yeah. So if there are 6 states that you can't sell kratom in, is kratom covered by tariffs?
Not at the moment. That is a huge discussion we're waiting to see. The last we heard, we could be getting a 19% tariff from raw kratom products coming from Indonesia into the United States. So if you round it up to 20%, that's a nice hit.
Yes. You said ironically rather than that you mean nice in a different way to actually nice.
Yes.
Right. Sounds like it's a growing market.
It is. It's definitely a growing market. People are still learning about it. People really need to get educated between the synthetic products that are on the market and real natural kratom that's been used for hundreds and thousands of years by traditional tribes. So these newer products that are on the market the last few years are not close to even what kratom naturally is. They're synthetically made, and they're only made to work on opiate receptors, not everything else in your body. So that's another mess. We're in the middle of a fight. So I think the United States FDA is going to finally regulate regular kratom and stop all the synthetics from taking over.
Right. Sounds like good news. Right. But just to sort of sum up, kratom is a natural product. It has sort of healing properties and pain-killing properties. And you've got on your website all sorts of information about that and on the other websites as well. And we'll put links to those in the description. Like any other product, really you need to be understanding it and making informed decisions about it alongside your medical advisors before you start using it or trialing it for yourself. Because it sounds from what you're saying that it's the sort of thing where an individual has to work out for themselves whether it's a right product for them.
Correct. Yes, it's not just a cup of black tea, no.
It sounds really interesting. What does the future look like?
I really think when the FDA has that, they are not going after natural kratom, they are going after the synthetics that are causing problems. So I believe them. FDA has never even acknowledged natural kratom. They tried making natural kratom a Schedule 1 in 2016.
Right.
So then all the tests, all the signs started coming out. Everybody was in a marathon to try to prove this plant is good. And so by 2018, they did that. So we kind of been in a lull for years, saying what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? And now we have a statement from the FDA that we're not going after natural kratom. We're going after the synthetics that are causing issues.
So the reason why the synthetics exist is that organizations know that kratom has advantages, benefits, and they're trying to replicate those synthetically.
Correct, 100%.
You know, Christopher, it's really very interesting. I look forward to finding out more and taking a look at your website. But for today, thank you very much. I've found it really interesting and I've learned quite a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Anytime you want me to come on again, we can have a question and answer with people. No problem.
That'd be great. That would be great. I am Michael Millward, the Managing Director of Abacida, and this episode of Fit for My Age, I have been having a conversation with Christopher Deaney from Christopher's Organic Botanicals. You can find out more about both of us at abacida.co.uk. There's a link in the description, alongside links to all of the websites that we have mentioned. I must remember to thank the team at matchmaker.fm for introducing me to Christopher. If you're a podcast looking for interesting guests, or if, like Christopher, you have something very interesting to say, matchmaker.fm is where great hosts and great guests are matched and great podcasts are hatched. There is a link to matchmaker.fm and an offer code in the description. It will come as no surprise that at Fit for My Age, our aim is proactive, positive aging. Knowing the risks early is an important part of maintaining good health. That is why we recommend the health tests available from York Test. York Test provide an annual health test which measures 39 different health markers that include cholesterol and diabetes, various vitamin levels, organ functions, the list goes on. The annual health test is conducted by an experienced phlebotomist who will complete a full blood draw at your home or workplace. Hospital standard tests are carried out in a UKAS accredited and CQC compliant laboratory. You can access your easy to understand results and guidance to help you make effective lifestyle changes anytime by your secure personal wellness hub account. There is, as you would expect, a link and a discount code in the description. I am sure that you will have enjoyed listening to this episode of Fit for My Age as much as Christopher and I have enjoyed making it. Please give it a like and download it so that you can listen anytime, anywhere. To make sure you don't miss out on future episodes, please subscribe. Remember, the aim of all the podcasts produced by Abacida is not to tell you what to think, but we do hope to have made you think. Until the next episode of Fit for My Age, thank you for listening, and goodbye.